Mabuhay, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. My channel is about marriage to a woman from the Philippines. I've been married since 2015. And sometimes people will think about retiring to the Philippines, but sometimes that means bringing their wife with them, who used to live in the Philippines, then has spent time in his country. And now, because he wants to go back to the Philippines, she has to decide if that's what she would like to do. And sometimes Filipinos don't want to do that. That's the topic of today. Please subscribe to Love Beyond the Sea and leave a comment. Now, I asked my wife, this is about what she would miss, my wife, what she would miss most if she had to leave America someday, where she's been for about 9 years, maybe, since 2016. So I guess that's about 8 years. I asked my wife what she would miss most about America if we retired in the Philippines someday. I'm going to start with what I thought she might say. And she's been here since January 11 of 2016, so it's about 8.5 years. Now, if you're seeing this and you have retired in the Philippines, let me know if your wife misses anything at all from having spent time in America. And a huge interest my wife had about coming here was work. That's not uncommon with a Filipina. And we're grateful she was at first able to land a job at a company that I worked for 40 years. And she would have her own money if she were to go to the Philippines someday. She's got her own 401k retirement fund. She would be able to access that from the Philippines, as well as all the money that I would leave her, the sale of this house and so on. So she wouldn't be hurting at all if she left. But she does like her jobs that she has had, especially the one she has now. And while I don't think she would probably miss the work experience overall, I think she would have learned some valuable lessons while here, and gained a lot of good experience being with different types of people, just like I did when I worked. I always felt like I could take something away, some life lessons away from work, and hopefully she would feel like she could do the same thing. And she might not miss making money there if she has enough to live on. She might even want to find something to do in the Philippines. I'm sure she would. It just wouldn't be something that takes up, 8 hours a day. But she would want to be busy. And so, she's got a car here, so she's got her checking accounts. I'm not sure she even wants to give that stuff up. But by the time we might retire and might move to the Philippines, I think she would have accomplished so much more than she ever imagined when she immigrated here. If she had any goals before, I think they would have been accomplished. My wife wasn't materialistic when I married her. She still isn't materialistic, despite liking to work a lot. She enjoys, occasionally buying some clothes or accessories for herself. That's just a bonus. And I've helped her family a lot. A lot more than she expected me to. We both have a house that we built in the Philippines as our vacation home and permanent home if we lived there. And this was a 50-50 joint project. She could sell her car that she has here to have even more money in the Philippines, but she would drive in the Philippines. She's already driven in the Philippines. And by the way, I think if your car is more than just a few years old, you're not allowed to ship it to the Philippines. Some people have, but I think it has to be a relatively newer car. Now, she does have a closet full of clothes, more than she ever probably imagined in her life. And she can bring some of those to the Philippines. Could use a bulk buy-in box for that. But I doubt she will miss being able to make what would be a sick amount of money compared to where she is from. She will have arrived in America to be my wife and left in better shape, which is the way I want it. When we got married, neither one of us was thinking about retiring to the Philippines, especially myself. But I love my wife, I love her family, and retiring to the Philippines is something to not ever say never to. If I were her, going from America to the Philippines, I would miss the weather here. I mean, where we live, you get winter, spring, summer, fall. It's beautiful. The spring and the fall, she gets to buy clothes for spring and fall, and what woman doesn't like to add to her wardrobe? The heat of the Philippines, she thinks is worse here, so it'd probably be better for her to go in the Philippines. Now, it would be nice to say when we retire, if we retired there, that she was able to see many different places in America, although we only have so much time to do that. So I don't think she would really miss not seeing everything here in America. We're both kind of homebodies. We've done some traveling. So I think she's probably had enough traveling. She's pretty immersed in her work right now. But what, if anything, do I think she would miss about America? I would say, have you ever thought about this? Friendships. She's established some friendships here in America. Some of those are people she works with, some Filipinas, and she's going to have them on photos and video and maintain contact with them. That would ease the pain. But I think she likes these relationships enough that it would cause some pain having to break away from them. And as time goes by, before we get to the point where we might seriously consider retiring in the Philippines, she'd probably make some more friends and more acquaintances. This is something I prayed for before she even got here. And God did answer those prayers. And now that she's had those relationships, she'd have to give them up. I probably would not want to do that. But then again, if she goes back to the Philippines, she already knows childhood friends and family. So I did recently ask her about what she thinks she would miss most about here. And I was kind of surprised by her answer. She said she would miss the efficiency of the United States. That is how much easier it is to get things accomplished. How easy it is to see a doctor because you just make an appointment first. When we were in the Philippines, I don't think they took appointments. You just, at least in the province where we would live, you showed up, you got in line, which means you checked in and you sat down and they called you in order. And if you had to go somewhere else and leave and get a blood test and go back later for the results, then you'd have to go back to that place and stand in line again. And it can take all day to just get certain things done. I've heard a lot of foreigners complain about this, and she kind of likes how simple everything is here, how easy it is to get documentation for certain things, just the overall organization of the United States that is much faster and efficient than compared to the Philippines. That, to her, off the top of her head, was what she would miss the most. Not an answer I would have expected, but I think I can understand where she comes from. The fact is, she's very much ingrained into the society and culture here in a good way. She has not become Americanized like many people fear. And so, if she stays here the rest of her life, I think she'll be in good shape. She's got a good paying job with responsibility. She's a supervisor at a big manufacturing plant that generated $21.5 billion with a B dollars in revenue last year. She's got a good thing there. She's got a sibling that she's petitioning for, although that might take another 10 years for her to get here. So my wife has a lot going on here and a husband who loves her, and she's getting the most out of her potential. She would miss some things, but it doesn't look like she will have to. Because of all this, I don't see moving our love beyond the sea.